I've been hyping up 308, saying I'm going to go 100%. After 307, I was so close to going 100% on the entire card. And then Aldo lost, so I got that pick wrong. But listen. Today's video, I'm going to be going 100% at UFC 308 from the whole card. That being said, let me just say this disclaimer. The first fight of the night, I don't know if I'm going to get it right. But other than that, bro, we will cook. We will make some manyan. So if y'all want to make some manyan, listen to what I'm saying specifically for about these fights, because some fights I'm not going to put my bet on or put my parlay on because it's a little bit too risky. But I still believe these guys are going to win. So just listen to what I'm saying in the video, and then you will make money. Listen, no matter what, I'm going to go 100% on my parlay, okay? I think I'm going to do it. Trust me, I looked at these matchups. I think I got this down the bag. So all y'all people with no hairlines, no crispy hairlines, unlike me, get ready for this absolute masterclass I'm about to put on UFC 308. Starting with the first fight. Now, I said for the first fight, I don't really know who wins because I don't know too much about these guys. I'll be real. So, Aslan, it looks like, who's undefeated in the UFC with all knockouts. So I'm liking this guy already. Versus Raffael Cerquiera. Don't know if I said that right, but he's making his UFC debut. So he's undefeated actually. But I feel like, listen, when you're undefeated in the regional scenes or whatever, it's a little bit different than being undefeated in the UFC because you could get a lot of decent wins there. Listen, I'll give you credit there. You're getting these good wins. But UFC's for the big dogs. And what this guy, Ibo, is showing me is that he's been in the UFC chat and he's been knocking these guys out at the UFC level. So I know light heavyweight in general is not really a very competitive weight class, but I feel like I like what I'm seeing more from Ibo Aslan. So I'm saying he's going to either knock out this Raffael guy. I think he's going to knock out Cerquiera quickly, maybe in the first round. If not, if it goes the distance, I don't know how Ibo's gas tank looks. I haven't seen him go the distance in the UFC at least, but I do still lean towards him just because, like I said, he's more experienced. He's been in more fights and he's been in the UFC for a long period of time. So I'm going to go Ibo Aslan in this fight. So trust me, don't trust me. No, but trust me, jokes aside, trust me with this fight, but I am going to lean towards Ibo Aslan. Now, next fight, I know a lot about these people. So we got Farid Bashrat, who's one of my favorite fighters. I don't talk about Farid Bashrat enough on this channel. He's literally a Zabit clone, so I love him. And then he's going against Victor Hugo, Afghan versus Brazil, so this is going to be an interesting matchup. I feel like Farid Bashrat is very good at multiple things. Like, he's very good at tripping opponents, his trips, his wrestling exchanges, and he's really good at striking. He's literally Zabit 2.0. That's how I see Bashrat. He's so versatile. He had that great win against Blackshear, of course. That great win against Taylor Lapilus, which is aging so well. Last person to beat him in his, I think his last 6-7 fights. So, bro, Farid Bashrat is the truth. I honestly think he could be a future champion. He's that skilled. That's the degree I hold Farid Bashrat into. Now, Victor Hugo, he's undefeated in the UFC. His last fight went to UD, I believe. And he did have that cool little knee bar Dana White Contender Series. But when they match up, I really feel like Farid Bashrat is going to be too much man. Too much big boy. You know, big brolic he do for him. You know what I'm saying? He's going to go in there, utilize those trips perfectly. I think he's going to try to keep it standing, but the second that Victor Hugo looks like a little decent, he can mix it up. Victor Hugo, like, he could grapple to a good extent. Of course, he's Brazilian, but I really feel like Farid Bashrat has the better overall grappling, not just BJJ, but control, wrestling, etc., etc. Just better things that Farid Bashrat can do in that department. But on the feet, I think it's going to be a masterclass for Farid Bashrat. But like I said, if he wants to mix it up, he could do that because he's that good. I can see this fight going to decision, but I am going to go Farid Bashrat by points or by knockout, one or the other, or even by submission. This guy he's too good at everything. So, like, Farid Bashrat is 100% winning this fight. Put this man on your parlay. Next up, we got my Nigerian brother, Kenan Nzechukwu versus Justin Tafa. Now, this fight, I know people are going to look at Kenan Nzechukwu, who's coming off 2 L's against Dustin Jacoby, and the OSP loss is looking kind of bad right now. People are like, oh, OSP sucks, dude. How's he losing? Like, how is Kenan Nzechukwu losing? I don't know if you guys remember, but that's like everyone's biggest parlay crusher, Kenan Nzechukwu losing to OSP. So I don't know what the odds are for this fight, but I'm assuming they're going to try to make it somewhat close after Kenan Nzechukwu lost to OSP. But I'm telling you right now, Justin Tafa has nothing for Kenan Nzechukwu. Not just because I like Nzechukwu because he's a countryman. He's cool and all, but I'm telling you right now, like, he's way better than Justin Tafa. The Tafa brothers fatigue way too easily. They fatigue way too, like, you'll never really see Kenan Nzechukwu like leaning on his opponent's dying breath that bad, because his gas tank's not that bad. He's a pretty sound striker. He has pretty good wrestling and grappling. Like, he wrestles and grapples when he needs to. And Justin Tafa and the Tafa brothers in general, they can't even wrestle that well. So yeah, Justin Tafa, he's coming off that Carl Williams loss, which is kind of embarrassing. Like, listen, I just feel like Kenan Nzechukwu is going to be too much for him. He's going to go in there, he's going to oppose his will more ways than the other, whether it's striking, wrestling, and no matter matter what Nzechukwu does, he will win. I'll probably put him on my parlay, honestly. I think I'm going to put Nzechukwu on my parlay just because I really have faith in him over someone like Justin Tafa. I just don't think the Tafa brothers are all that great like some people try to paint them out to be. They have power, but everyone has power at light heavyweight, so nothing to be concerned of. Nzechukwu will walk away with the victory. Next up, we got Abus Magomedov versus Brunno Ferreira. Okay, these are both first-round finishers. I feel like they both start good in the first round. Brunno Ferreira, I feel like I've only ever seen him finish people in the first round. I don't think he ever went to a second round in the UFC at least. And then, of course, Abus Magomedov, he's been the distance. He's shown that if he could wrestle you and take you down, he could actually go the distance with you to conserve some energy. Even his last win, though, like when he had to wrestle to secure that win, it was just like he was wrestling so fatigued. He didn't even look all that great. And when he would take the opponent down, he would literally just take them out and lay on them for, control time. But honestly, Abus loses to good people. Crowd Hollow, that's a good person to lose to. Shara, good person to lose to. But it's just the way he looked in the losses, like how he exerted his energy really badly, and he almost like gave up on himself. It's like he gives up on himself in the middle of the fights. Brunno Ferreira is just a juggernaut, and I know he's gonna try to wrestle Brunno in the later rounds, but I don't know how great Brunno Ferreira's gas tank is. It could be similar to a Boost. So this fight's very interesting and very close. It's literally like a battle of the first round. But looking at the two, I do think Brunno Ferreira possesses more power than Abus Magomedov. But I do think Abus is going to have the edge in the wrestling. But I just feel like if Abus is struggling to take down Brunno Ferreira, who's like very stocky, he's big, he's a strong dude, in the later rounds, and then he's going to get finished. Because if he can't take him down and lay on Brunno and save some of his energy, he's going to lose. So that's why I am going to lean towards Brunno Ferreira. This is a pretty close fight, but I feel like I have enough faith in Brunno Ferreira to put on my parlay. But listen, you don't have to if you don't believe. If you have faith in Abus, don't even listen to this pick. But I really feel like overall, Abus can only win fights if the opponent he's going against absolutely sucks at wrestling. And like I said, Brunno Ferreira being Brazilian, I know he has some decent grappling background, but he doesn't, I never really see him in the situations where he has to, scramble off his back and stuff. So we'll see about this fight, but I really do have faith in Brunno Ferreira's power will prevail, and he's probably going to TKO Abus Magomedov. So I am going Brunno Ferreira. Next fight, we got Said Nurmagomedov versus Daniel Santos. Now, Said is, one of those Dagestani fighters who aren't wrestlers. He's a striker primarily. So he likes to strike primarily. He's very good at striking, too. He's a very elusive striker, very elite striker. But if he needs to throw in some trips and utilize trips, just what Bashrat does, he will utilize them. Daniel Santos, of course, a good grappler. He wants to get the fight to the ground. He is going to wrestle. He's going to make Said Nurmagomedov wrestle. But the thing about Said, his wrestling's he's defensively sound enough to keep the fight where he wants it for the most part. He will probably get taken down this fight. I just don't have enough faith in Daniel Santos to be able to take him down, control him there, and then submit him, because like I said, Said Nurmagomedov has some decent grappling, just because the origin he's from, where he originated from, his country. So that's why he has that. But yeah, I feel like Said's striking's a lot more elite than Daniel Santos, so I feel like he's going to give Daniel Santos a lot of problems, have him force him to shoot into some desperation takedowns, and I feel like that's when Said's just going to time him with some good counters and stuff. So I am going to overall feel like I have more faith in Said Nurmagomedov. Feel like he's a pretty complete fighter for the most part. He has went through some losses, of course, but I really feel like this is going to be a fight for him to kind of show out a little bit more. So I do have Said Nurmagomedov beating Daniel Santos. It's a classic striker versus grappler. Pick your poison, but I am going to go with Said Nurmagomedov. Next up, we got Rebecki versus Orolbai. You know what I'm saying? Orolbai is back. Rebecki's interesting. He's coming off a TKO loss against Diego Ferreira, okay? He's still a talented fighter, but what Rebecki wants to do, he wants to impose your will. He wants to impose his will in the wrestling department and kind of go in there and out-wrestle these guys. So the problem with this, though, is he's going to go in there and try to just muscle Orolbai and out-wrestle Orolbai, but Orolbai's scrambling ability, his ability to scramble out of situations defensively, offensively, anywhere, he's hard to control on the ground, let alone even could, keep on the ground. And Orolbai would want to take the fight to the ground, too, if he wanted. He's very just good at making it ugly. He reminds me kind of like Shavkat, he kind of goes in there and tries to break people. Like I said, Rebecki's good, but he's only good if he's able to dictate the pace. I don't see him doing that with someone with Orolbai. Orolbai's a very smart fighter with good fight IQ, and he has aura, bro. He just has the script, man. I feel like he just has plot armor, and he's gonna be the guy to just go in there and just beat Rebecki. I'm sorry, Rebecki, especially coming off a loss. I'm sure his confidence is a little bit shot, because he was getting a lot of wins prior, but Orolbai just has momentum rolling. He's been going in here, going against some tough competition. We've seen Orolbai when he's forced to scramble out of crazy situations, and he's very good at that. So I'm gonna have to go Orolbai, not just because I love him, not for the plot, but just because he's actually a better fighter overall than Rebecki, and he's gonna force him to fight. And when it's a dog fight, give me Orolbai 9 out of 10 times. So Orolbai will defeat Rebecki. Orolbai will be on my parlay as well. Next up, we got Geoff Neal versus RDA, the battle of the older heads, you know what I'm saying? They're kind of getting to the point where they're a little bit older. Of course, Geoff Neal coming off 2 losses back-to-back against Shavkat Rakhmonov, which is a good fighter, and Ian Gary, who also thinks a good fighter. Same with RDA, coming off of 2 losses back-to-back with Luque and Gamrot. The Gamrot loss was a little bit interesting because I feel like in the Gamrot fight, he was stuffing his takedowns to Gamrot, you know, forcing Gamrot to, you know, fight a little bit more. And it kind of almost exposed Gamrot before that little Dan Hooker fight. But yeah, RDA's tough. Geoff Neal's tough. The thing about Geoff Neal, it's hard to take Geoff Neal down. I know RDA, when he usually gets his wins, like his win against Moicano in 2022, where he just outclassed Moicano in the grappling and wrestling department, that was beautiful. That aged so well. But I just feel like Geoff Neal is someone hard to take down and control. That being said, I could see a world where RDA does take down Geoff Neal, but I just think Geoff Neal is physically too strong and won't allow it to be easy. So I feel like the rounds where he's not going to be taken down, I feel like Geoff Neal's hands are quick and they're heavy. So it's going to give RDA a lot of problems. So yeah, Geoff Neal's he's a beast, man. Don't get his last 2 losses confused where he's washed or something. I just think those are the next up-and-comers, Shavkat and Ian Gary. So, you know, and the Ian Gary fight was split decision. It was close. But I did think Ian Gary probably scraped off a win. But yeah, I am going to go Geoff Neal winning this fight. I just feel like overall he will be successful and he will beat the man. So, yep, Geoff Neal will beat RDA. We got main card type vibes here. We got Shara Bullet versus Arman Petrosyan. This fight is interesting. I always say how risky this fight is for both fighters just because I know Shara. Shara's a really good striker who kind of doesn't let his hands go enough. He kind of he uses kicks for everything, which could get him put in compromising positions and countered. You know, it's weird. Like he throws a kick like a jab sometimes. He throws these weird little hook kicks, these oblique kicks, these side kicks, these teep kicks. He throws all these kicks just to set up kicks. Set up more kicks. He throws kicks to set up kicks. The style is dangerous. It's going to catch up to him eventually. I really feel like it's almost a matter of time until Shara gets fraud checked for me. Is it going to be Arman Petrosyan? Yeah, Arman's coming off a loss against Rodolfo Rivera. So when Vieira beat him, I was like, okay, he's good, but he's you know what I'm saying? He's a little bit But he doesn't wrestle much. Is he gonna wrestle against Shara? I bet you bottom dollar he is. But this dude doesn't wrestle much, so it's a little bit of I don't know what to expect. Cause dude, you gotta wrestle against Shara. Because if he doesn't wrestle against Shara, I tell you, Shara will probably outpoint him or maybe even finish him. Because I can see that happening. But it just depends how Arman comes into this fight, bro. But I know people are the casual fans yeah, dude, it's just a matter of time, man. Shara Bullet, man, fraud checking coming. It could be this fight, and I actually might agree with them here, but it's just I don't know if I could fully agree with them. Just because I do have faith in Shara striking and Arman being majority, a primary striker too, it makes you want to lean towards Shara Bullet. Is this going to be in my parlay? I keep saying no, but I don't know if I'm going to put it. We might just for the shits and gigs and the memes and the pressure, I might. But overall, I wouldn't recommend putting Shara on your parlay, but I do think Shara is going to come out on top in this fight. Magomed, Ankalaev, and Rakic. Now, this fight, I feel like people are saying this is probably going to be Ankalaev's hardest test. And I agree with it to an extent. I do think it's going to be a hard fight for Ankalaev. Rakic has not won in 3 years, Chad. His last win was against Thiago Santos, 2021. And his last one before that was 4 years ago against fucking Anthony Smith. So, he's beaten people, but it's been a little bit. I feel like he's almost forgot how it feels to win. And now you're going against Magomed Ankalaev, just going right back into the fire. And I know he's coming off a loss against Yuri Prochazka, and he looked good in that fight. But I'm starting to realize something, chat. He looked good in that fight, but also Yuri Prochazka is probably the worst defensive striker in UFC history. So, yeah, you look great in that fight, dude. But you look great against someone who has no defense. Now, you put anyone against you put me against it, and then against Yuri, chat, no joke. I land a lot, and then I get knocked out. That's what's going to happen to me. I will land shots on Yuri Prochazka, then I'll get brutally knocked out. Now, does that necessarily mean I could go in there with Ankalaev and beat the crap out of him? No. Listen, it's going to be a hard test for Ankalaev, as in because, I feel Rakic is tough, and he's very, he's well-equipped. But is he good enough to beat Ankalaev? Hell no. I realize he's just nowhere near the skill to beat Ankalaev. Oh, yeah, dude. Bro, Rakic has the opportunity to do the funniest thing, dude. Cowabunga, dude. Surfs up. Bro, keep dreaming. He has the opportunity to do the funniest shit. It's not going to happen. I think Magomed's the best light heavyweight on the planet Earth today. And I think he's going to show in this fight. He's going to go in there, probably knock out Rakic. Rakic's chin is not horrible, but I do think he has his Ankalaev's boxing is a little bit too significant for Rakic to overcome. So I'll absolutely go towards Ankalaev. I don't think Ankalaev's gonna wrestle. I really doubt it. I think he's just gonna finish him pretty quickly. Well, brush off his shoulders, hit a little Dougie. Ankalaev does actually. It's funny because Ankalaev's probably gonna knock him out. Then be like. then like walk around in a circle, not showing any emotion, because that's what he always does. It's weird. But yeah, Ankalev's definitely gonna beat Rakic. So all these people like, yeah, dude, I just feel like, man, Rakic, man, I just don't think it's gonna happen, dog. So y'all can keep dreaming on that. So I am going Magomed Ankalaev. Bring me my money. He will be on my parlay. Lerone Murphy versus Dan Ige, chat. Woo, this fight is interesting. It's very interesting in a lot of ways. I see a lot of people, you know, glazing Lerone Murphy. Justifiably so, though. Great performance against Edson Barboza. Edson Barboza did have him hurt at the end of the first with an up kick, but, you know, it's almost the fact that, like, Edson Barboza is an older guy. I feel like he lost his fire in that fight. The longer the fight went, I feel like he was slowly giving up on himself. Lerone Murphy's a very good striker, though. He kind of reminds you of a Leon Edwards, almost. Good striker. I rewatched the Edson fight. When Edson would have moments where he blitzing him, I feel like it would give Lerone Murphy a little bit of adversity. Like, Lerone wouldn't know how to counter. He kind of just put his hands up and kind of shell up and then, like, break off and then get back to his momentum. And then Ige is obviously a very aggressive style. I saw watching back his fight 5 hours notice with fucking Diego Lopez. First of all, that's crazy to fight someone as good as Diego on 5 hours notice. And just looking at that fight again, man, like, Dan Ige would, like, he really blitzes in on, like, with big hooking shots. He has a tough chin. He's tough. He's a tough one. He's going to keep coming. I think, honestly, bro, he's the underdog. This is going to be my underdog pick of the night. I really think Dan Ige is going to beat him. I know this is crazy. I know a lot of people might call me crazy, but I feel like that aggressive style mixed up with Lerone Murphy kind of just shelling up and accepting it, mixed up with Dan Ige's really good defense. He always has a high guard. Like, he's always protected. That weighs on someone good. Dan Ige really needs to come out with pressure, like I hope he does. And when he's pressuring him, Lerone's going to try low kicking him. He's going to try, like, keep circling, exert a lot of energy in the first. He might steal the first, but rounds 2 and 3, I will give towards Dan Ige. This is a full camp Dan Ige, and expect Dan Ige to mix it up, go for wrestling, and try to control him, and just ground and pound and make the fight ugly. So yeah, this is the underdog pick of the night, man. I am going Dan Ige. I just feel like he's a lot to deal with. He's a lot to handle, and I don't know, man. Lerone Murphy's really good. So I guess people are going to call this a fraud check after it happens, but I definitely saw this coming, and I know it's coming. So yeah, I'm sorry, bro, but I'm going to have to say my boy Dan Ige is pulling it through. So if you're a Dan Ige fan, trust me, put him on your parlay. I'm liking this pick. So Lerone Murphy, bro, you're great, but I just feel like you're not ready for a Dan Ige with that aggressive style and that relentless pace. Co-main event feels with Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Okay. I'm probably going to make these into individual videos, by the way, this co-main and even the main event. So, but what I'll say for this one is, for this video, Whittaker is really good. Whittaker is very good. Whittaker does have paths to victory. You know, Whittaker's striking is very good. His defensive wrestling up until this fight has been great, has been exceptional, just like Kamaru Usman. You know, like, Khamzat Chimaev's grappling in general is so different than, like, anyone in UFC history. He's the best wrestler and grappler in UFC history, in my opinion. His ability to take someone down at will, control them at will, go for submissions at will, and, like, lock it in against some of these best fighters is really impressive against me. The way people say Kevin Holland sucks at grappling, he's actually really good at grappling. And just the way, like, Khamzat would roll with him. Like, I swear, Kevin Holland couldn't have fought that fight better. The way he was rolling, and then, like, Khamzat was just rolling with him. The way, like, Khamzat, you see him lift up, like, the leech and walk with him. The way he was, like, kind of ragdolling Gilbert Burns. The way he ragdolled Usman the first round. It's a different level of grappling. The way he's grappling with these gold medalists, the way he's grappling with Luke Rockhold submitting him. Robert Whittaker is good, and he's well-rounded, but you can't just be good and well-rounded to be Khamzat. I do think you need some kind of, like, first you need a good chin. People say, oh, Whittaker will force him, just keep it standing with all the stuff takedowns, dude. Bro, it takes one punch for Khamzat to put Whittaker away. I'm not saying Whittaker's chin's bad. I'm just saying it's not good. Mixed up with the fact that Khamzat Chimaev has shown one punch power at 185 like he did at GM3. So it's like, yo, it's just like Khamzat has the power. They both have mutual opponents they knocked out in Ikram Askarov. You know, so it's interesting in that sense. I'll be real, it's really interesting, but I really feel like Khamzat is going to be too strong for Whittaker. It might be a first round finish. I wouldn't be surprised if Khamzat is lifting him up, slams him, and then Whittaker just it's almost like a rush, too much to anticipate. Whittaker wasn't expecting this, to a point where, like, Khamzat just secures a choke before Whittaker is even cognitive of what just happened. And it could be a quick fight, and if it does go the distance, people are like, Kenny, if it goes the distance, it's going to be Whittaker. I don't really think so. I think if it goes the distance, it'll be a very competitive fight. But I feel like Khamzat will still be able to implement wrestling in the later rounds. And when he takes Whittaker down, I don't trust Whittaker to get back up without putting himself in a compromising position to get choked. Of course, the longer fights go, the more sweaty you get. So it's going to be hard to secure a choke. But with Hamza Chimaev, like he can secure a choke anytime, anywhere, any place. I really feel like so. Yes, overall, I will have to say Hamza Chimaev will probably be victorious. Not probably, will be victorious against Robert Whittaker. This is definitely gonna go on my parlay. I like how interesting this fight is because the narrative, if Hamza gasses, dude, Whittaker, man, like he's just too cowabunga, dude. That makes me happy. I can't wait to watch the fight. I will be putting my blade on Hamza Chimaev. In the main event, we got Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria. Of course, Max Holloway, great boxer in the UFC. You know, great kicks. His kicks, he's going to be kicking a lot this fight, I bet. And, you know, defensive wrestling not all there. While we got Ilia Topuria, great boxer as well. Way better boxer for being real. Good striker overall. Good wrestler and good grappler. If Ilia wanted to say, let me go on this fight and just Khabib Nurmagomedov him, Ilia could do that. He could go in this fight and just wrestle. Let's wrestle. He could do that. Is he going to do that? I don't really believe he needs to do that. Like I said, Max Holloway gets hit a lot. He absorbs a lot of damage in a lot of his fights. He tries to overwhelm people with just kind of, let me throw high volume at you, man. Let me just throw a lot of punches at you, dude. Let me throw a lot of this, that, and third. That works against some people. It works against people that, Holloway can't get knocked out by. Like, it worked against Volk. Volk, I don't think Max was worried about getting knocked out by Volk. No offense to Volk. I'm not saying he's a pillow-handed guy. But he's a pillow-handed guy, and he can't really knock out someone like Max, I feel like. So that's why Max is comfortable, like, kind of going in the fire, just throwing a lot of punches, overwhelming him. He did it with Dustin, too. I think he underestimated Dustin's power or just the way he fights. He was kind of just throwing a lot of volume at Dustin. Then you get hit with, like, big shots by Dustin, and you start, like, doing a chicken dance a little bit because he's going against a decent boxer like Dustin with good power. Now, the only good boxer he's ever won against was Conor McGregor. He beat him. Dustin Poirier, he beat him. Volkanovski, he beat him 3 times. He struggles with good boxers, is no secret. Ilia Topuria is a better technical boxer than everyone I just said, in my opinion, with more pound-for-pound power than everyone I just said. Now, you'll see him beat a lot of people who are kick-first guys. Like, he'll batter people like Jose Aldo, kick-first, at the time at least. He'll batter people like Justin Gaethje, who's kick-first, low kick-first. You know, he will beat a guy who's kick-first. Ilia is not kick first. He's boxing first. Same with Dustin. Same with Volk. Same with Conor. These guys all beat Max Holloway. So I look at someone like Ilia Topuria. I know he's boxing first, which is fucking already Max Holloway's weakness. He has the power to put that good chin to sleep. I know Max has a good chin. It's no secret he's actually been dropped by Justin and Dustin. I know people thought it wasn't officially a drop, dude, so it doesn't actually count for a drop, can he? He's been dropped by these guys who have heavy hands. Ilia's power is different because it's good. It's precision and power. Like, he hits you in the right spot, puts you to sleep. His timing of his blitzes is crazy. And every time, like, Max Holloway gets blitzed, he always wants to throw something back. And that's where I feel like he's going to get caught, bro. Like, he's going to see the blitz coming. He's going to try to time the blitz. But if he misses or Ilia just gets his head out the way just that smidge bit, that land shot is going to be so much better. And the second that Ilia feels threatened on the feet, he does have the capabilities to wrestle. And if he wrestles, I really feel like the grappling advantage is significant for Ilia Topuria too, who submitted Bryce Mitchell, who's a great grappler, you know. So Ilia Topuria really has this fight in the bag for me. He just has too much ways to win compared to Max Holloway having very limited ways to win. I actually couldn't tell you like a way Max Holloway could win. Maybe like just outpointing him and surviving his heavy punches. That's the most probable cause. But like I said, Ilia Topuria doesn't need to just strike with Max Holloway. If he wants to, he can, but he doesn't need to. So that being said, I do think Ilia Topuria will comfortably win. And yes, that is my predictions. And that is how I went 100% at 308. If you're watching this before the fight, congrats, you're here when I went 100%, bro. And if you just made a lot of money because of me, you know. So that's definitely going to my parlay. So let me just lastly read out people who I'd put on my parlay. So Farid, Bashrat, I'd throw on there. Kennedy and Nzechukwu, I'd go for it. Okay. Then I'll go for Orolbai on the parlay. I'll go for Geoff Neal on the parlay. Ankalaev on the parlay for sure. Then I'll go probably Hamza Chimaev on the parlay. Then Holloway on the parlay. Those are the 7 that I would definitely go for. Now, if you're feeling a little confident like me, I would also probably incorporate someone like Nurmagomedov on the parlay. Brunno Ferreira on the parlay too. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Those are the people, if you're feeling a little bit more frisky, but those 7 people I initially named, definitely put them on your parlay and you're going to make some bread. You're welcome, bro. And yeah, and if you just want to do a main card parlay, just all main card fights, just go Shara Bullet, which is kind of risky, Ankalaev, Dan Ige, Hamza, Topuria. Stay off the Dan Ige if you don't believe in the hype that I'm trying to present to you right now. But yes, those are the picks. Those are everything I'm going to go with. Let me know what y'all going to go with. And trust me, because I'm going to go 100%. This is my time to shine. And if you want to just do an individual big parlay, do Hamza Topuria duo. Then put like a fucking over 100 on that. And that's definitely going to hit. So that's it for me. Have a good day and God bless. 2.